Welcome back. Episode 3 of Why It Matters with Allie. I'm Allie Clifton, of course. For those of you that may not have joined us until now or just coming on board, please feel free to go click on our pinned IG post introducing myself, as well as checking out episodes 1 and 2 of our 5-part series, Why It Matters with Allie, as we take you inside an important conversation revolving around the capital campaign that began in 2024 to help fund a brand new facility for the YWCA in Van Wert. And to be honest, as I've said all along for the first couple of episodes, this is truly a real talk about the YWCA's mission, impact, and its future. So with that said, like we have learned through the first couple of episodes, it sure does take a village to make the magic happen, but it wouldn't be possible without Jamie Evans as well, who is the head of Survivor Services. Jamie will be taking time to discuss the work of the Survivor Services over the next couple of minutes, which I believe it is also important. She will dive into this to note being all in this together, despite maybe it not directly impacting you, as well as we've learned through the impact a brand new facility can have on this important matter in these spaces. So with that said, Jamie, I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you. Excited.
Of course. So can we begin with first you just giving a brief overview of the Survivor Services that you guys have with the YWCA?
Yeah, so here at the YW, we are an emergency and long-term shelter and program for survivors of human trafficking, sexual assault, and domestic violence. We do serve all survivors. So I think that's one important thing to point out is that we serve men as well as women. And we also have children that stay with us as part of their family unit if they are affected as well by the trauma in their life. Along with that, we also have a 24/7 hotline for all three of those things. So sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking. And we respond to 2 local hospitals for human trafficking and sexual assault, as well as the community. So police officers and different agencies can call that number as well. So people can stay up to a year, we say. But if they still need services and need housing longer than that, if it's due to their trauma and victimization, they can have an extended stay. Another thing to point out is that you do not have to live at the YW to receive our services. So we do outreach services. I always like to talk about that sometimes you are affected by one of those 3 victimizations, but you don't necessarily need to leave your home. And if you have a stable home, but you just need those services, we can also do that. You don't have to move in.
What is it, and in what ways, I guess, throughout just whether it's the healing process or just finding the safety or taking that first step in terms of just your programs working together?
We all work together. I mean, as far as like they all stay in the same area. I feel like for the most part, they are dealing with kind of some of the same issues or things going on in their life. It might have different ways brought them to us, but most of the time their stories might be a little different, but in the end, obviously it's victimization of some sort. And then when they get here, they're all kind of healing together. They might all have different goals that they're working towards, but most of them are working towards, living independently of their abuser, I guess. And that's what we're going to help them with. The other thing to point out too is that not everyone is it's not a cookie cutter program, right? Like we all know that if something happened to me and something happened to you, Allie, we would deal with it differently. We would need different resources and our journey would look different. And so we understand that and we're very cognitive of that. Like we want to make sure that it's victim led and not us saying this is how you have to do this, and this to be able to live independently and to set your goals. So we try really hard to make it victim-centered or survivor-centered.
And so, of course, obviously, why it matters with Allie. People are probably wondering why or how and in what ways a brand new facility could help support these services. And what would you tell them?
Oh gosh, the first thing would just be that dignified living. We talk about it all the time. Like that is our biggest thing. We say all the time, like we want to be able to give them what everyone deserves and what we think everyone deserves. The biggest thing is their own space, right? Like the great thing about the YW versus other kind of emergency shelters is everyone does get their own room here. Like that is hands down amazing, right? Like they have privacy. But other than that, everything else is shared. And that's really hard to come in not only with the trauma that's been in your life, but now you're in this facility with all these other people that came from different walks of life, right? They raised their children different. Maybe they don't have children and you're coming in with 6 kids and they're running around and they're acting like kids. And it causes a lot of problems. So being able to give everybody that apartment living where they can have their own space for everything is going to be amazing. And I mean, I'm just going to say it, the air conditioning alone, especially what we're dealing with in the summer in Van Wert right now, it's very, very hot and there's no air on 3rd floor where their bedrooms are. And that is horrible. Like I hate it for them. So I really think that this building is just going to be, it's just answered prayers, I guess, for us. We've been dreaming of this for, I mean, I've been here 16 years. Like the minute I walked in, I'm like, we have no air up there. Oh my gosh. So I think that that is going to really level it up, and just our programming alone. The physical part is what's going to change us. Our programming will stay the same. I mean, will it grow? I think it will. I think it'll change a little bit, but I think, we'll look the same. It's just physically for us, that's huge. Like that's going to be where it makes the most difference is all the upgrades that we will get for them.
For sure, which is a big reason as to why we're all here, right?
Yeah.
And I think lastly, before I let you go, something that you can probably speak to, obviously with all of your experience and the hard work and just the time and dedication, Jamie, that you have put forth to the support services, when it doesn't directly affect or impact oneself, what's your message in terms of just the help and the love and the support?
We talk about that so much, and I think my message is I think it's affecting someone and you don't know it, right? So I think there's so many people in our community, in the world, that are dealing with or know someone that's dealing with trauma in domestic violence, human trafficking, or sexual assault in some way, and you may just not know it because they're not talking about it, they're not open about it, which is totally fine. But I would be surprised that there are any individuals in our community or surrounding communities that are not affected by this. They just don't know it. Also, it can happen to anyone. Right? So even if you do find a person that's like, I literally have no one that has ever had it, this isn't going to happen to me, really? Because it could, and it might. So I think that's when people say that to me, that's usually what I talk about is 1, you might not know it. And 2, you can't say this is never going to affect you. And wouldn't you want your loved one or someone that you hold close to you to have somewhere to go that you feel safe that they're in and get all the amenities that we all have and we all deserve as humans. So
I thank you for that insight, Jamie, of course. Jamie Evans is the head of survivor services with the YWCA. Before we wrap this up, as I mentioned, it's a very candid conversation. Is there anything else that we have left out that you would like to further touch on?
I mean, I feel like we've hit it all. Like when we talked about, doing this, my biggest thing when they're like, I'm like, it's the building. I mean, it truly is the building and what we're getting with that is going to affect my program the biggest, I think, is just that space and what it's going to bring and the things we're going to be able to do and what we're going to be able to give these survivors, I think is just amazing. So it really is a dream come true. Like, I know it's cheesy, but it's true.
There's nothing cheesy about the work that you put forth to take care of and support others. So we appreciate you taking the time, obviously, to spend with us here, Jamie, to enlighten us on this capital campaign and what we are continuing to talk about over the next couple of weeks. So just a reminder to all of you, every Tuesday for the next couple of weeks, as I mentioned, we'll be dropping our new episode of our 5-part series, Why It Matters with Allie, just a real talk about the YWCA's mission, impact, and its future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.